I told y'all that I was going to deep dive into this interview, and I have there's a wealth of information here. And I saw Mrs. Laura Fryer correcting a statement that Satya Nadella made about Flight Simulator, which was designed and developed by another team before they licensed it to Microsoft, and then Microsoft acquired them. And I said, great, on her part. But there is something that also I think is missing, and that's the fact that even people who work, in Xbox division didn't necessarily seem to have bought into Microsoft's original plan. They wanted to fight with PlayStation. This question is going to explain and actually provide a big context as to why a lot of those folk from the Xbox teams, because of the way they were geared to compete against PlayStation and Nintendo and probably, whatever was going on at the time, still believe that old school methodology would work, not knowing that Microsoft already transcended that particular paradigm and was super profitable. In fact, if I ask you a simple question, how did Microsoft come about having $80 billion in their war chest to go buy Activision Blizzard King and Bethesda? It was by providing services and providing their software to as many people as they possibly could. That's how they got there. This question is going to basically answer, or at least I would say provide some insight as to that. After Satya says that if Google wanted to bring Gemini to Azure, please go ahead.
And Amar, Nando, we have now 3 cool models, whether it's, hey, I'm happy with OpenAI, I would love to have Anthropic, MAI, Grok, anyone. If Google wants to put Gemini on Azure, please do so.
What is that like culturally? Like, what does it mean for the next Satya Nadella? Somebody who's working their way up in Microsoft, do they need to be, okay, I'm building something internally, but my company isn't going to favor me? I need to fight it out with all my competitors across.
We all grew up.
Did you hear that? I'm building something internally. My company isn't going to favor me. I need to fight it out with everybody. A lot of former executives are in this mindset. They're hyper competitive people. I mean, you got to understand, before you go be an executive in a lot of these companies, there's got to be that competitive spirit inside of you. So many of them they're fighting this, very brute. They want this brute force methodology, not realizing that there's also the effective water methodology that you can just flow in and out and still be super influential, super powerful. You can move stuff. You understand what I mean? But I'll let him answer the question.
That culture where it doesn't mean, because it's always we are going to bring our pieces together.
Sure.
We are going to innovate across these scenes.
Yeah.
But as a platform company, you kind of want to support everything.
Sure.
Right? I mean, most people don't get, Office was born on the Mac before Windows was even
if you don't give people choice, developers here will churn, right? They'll find other platforms, right?
I mean, the concepts Bill had when he started Microsoft was, hey, we're a software factory. We love all software categories, and we're just going to go create software. And so to me, we definitely want to sort of have that same attitude to innovation. We definitely need to stitch our stuff together so that they come together to solve bigger and greater problems. But doesn't mean we can't create opportunities. And in part, the other thing that I grew up, like, for example, building SQL Server with SAP. And so we've always partnered, or Intel, Microsoft, right? I mean, we wouldn't have the PC industry, but it was called the Grove Greats model.
Yeah.
That's a good model to create value.
Do you think?
Did you hear it? Did you hear it? I mean, if it's not obvious to many of you by now, I don't know what else will be, to be honest. I mean, console warrior channels are mad that Xbox is taking on this, face. They're not happy. Because you know what this is going to mean, right? This is going to mean that you now have to basically go ahead and assess Xbox differently than you do the other, consoles, the other gaming platforms. That's literally what it's going to look like at the end of the day. So I'm of the mind that when people don't necessarily point out that this openness is basically what's giving Microsoft the edge and giving Xbox the edge as Microsoft has gotten the edge, they basically fail to see what Xbox's business is quite capable of overall. Which then brings that question about the console war.
On the topic of changing business model, shifting your business model, it seems like the console wars are over. Take me through the journey.
You're a peacetime CEO now.
You're a
on that
peacetime
front.
CEO. The war's over. But take me through the evolution of the business model shift on the gaming side of the business. It's one of the most interesting pieces of Microsoft.
Yeah,
in my
I mean,
opinion.
I think you've got to remember, in fact, Flight Simulator, I think, was the first product Microsoft built, even before, I think, our DevTools was first.
Yeah.
Flight Simulator was second.
That's
So Laura Fryer said that Flight Simulator was built by another team, and she corrected that. But he said DevTools was first. I don't know what DevTools is.
so much about the culture.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like
So
as soon as you gave the developers the ability to write code, they were like, "Let's make a game." It's amazing.
And so, to me, remember, the biggest gaming business is the Windows business.
Yeah.
To us, gaming on Windows.
Yeah.
And of course, Steam has built a massive marketplace on top of it, and done a very successful job of it.
A lot of companies have built successful marketplaces on Steam. Like I said, I think Xbox was very slow to actually move their gaming into Windows. I said it before. Xbox One, they should have ripped that Band-Aid off. That PS4 to Xbox One generation, the PC market was growing so steadily. It was growing so steadily in the shadows too. I remember, and that was at the onset when I made that video that Spider-Man needed to come to PC. I made a video about that thing in 2018 where I was looking at the data going, this is crazy how PC is growing like mad. Because if you go back and think about it, like right now, the PlayStation 4 is probably going to, set a landmark where the PS5 is going to struggle to reach. I won't say struggle, but it'll be fantastical to reach it without getting short by about 1 million. If it surpasses it, that will be the surprise, because a lot of people in that generation are basically buying into this, but many of them have actually moved on to either not gaming, or some of them have moved into the PC landscape, because at that time, PC gaming was actually quite affordable to get into on many fronts, and the games were cheap to run in the sense that they weren't making these games that are now very tasking. So you could run almost anything on potato hardware at the time.
So to us, the way we are thinking about gaming is, first of all, now we're the largest publisher.
Yeah.
After the Activision. So therefore,
They've already met their goal. That's what they want to do. They want to be everywhere, just like Microsoft basically allows itself to be everywhere.
we want to be a fantastic publisher, similar approach to what we did with Office.
Yeah.
We're going to be everywhere in every platform. So we want to make sure, whether it's consoles, whether it's the PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's cloud gaming, or the TV. So we just want to make sure
And the refrigerator. I'm so upset he didn't say the refrigerator.
the games are being enjoyed by gamers everywhere.
Yeah.
Second, we also want to do innovative work in the system side, on the console and on the PC.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that, people think about the console, PC as two different things. We built the console because we wanted to build a better PC.
Yeah.
A console is a PC. Anybody that tries to tell you otherwise, just laugh, okay? It's a limited access PC without admin privileges. That's it. That's all it is. I know everyone's so fascinated by all these little things. My dude, you will never have gotten the so-called console were it not for the technology of the PC as the baseline, if you understand what I mean. So again, they're not inherently these different things. It's just one is branched out. The console is branched out from the fundamental, technology, which is the PC.
Which could then perform for gaming.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to revisit some of that conventional wisdom. But at the end of the day, console has an experience that is unparalleled. It delivers performance that's unparalleled. That pushes, I think, the system forward. So I'm very looking forward to the next console, the next PC gaming. But most importantly, the game business model has to be where we have to invent maybe some new interactive media as well. Because after all, gaming's competition is not other gaming. Gaming's competition is short-form video.
Yeah.
And
He's not lying. And some people kind of took this really weird at the end of the day. And it kind of got me just laughing because this was a data-driven thing that had been seen for a long time. Sean Layden said this as, just over here in 2024 or so. And Matthew Ball did that presentation where he put it all together, and that's what we saw. So I think, and some people were like, oh, it's time or it's whatever. My dude, it's easy access to entertainment. You can watch YouTube Reels or whatever it is, short videos, and that will be all the videos that you watch in a day. You won't even bother to feel the need to go watch your favorite TV show, because you would have basically gone ahead to just, watch whatever you wanted to during your free time, or what, or your breaks or whatever it is.
So if we as an industry don't continue to innovate, both how we produce, what we produce, how we think about distribution, the economic model, right? Best way to innovate is to have good margins, because that's the way you can fund.
He ain't lying. Best way to innovate is by having good margins, because that's the way you can fund. A lot of you did not say that last part. This is why the media is a joke. What else are they going to basically use the margins for a company that's actually attracted to infinite growth? Is to basically put the money back into the business. Yes, they're evil corporate. Call them all that, because exactly, they will find ways to make their money. They will do some crazy stuff. But I'm pointing this out because if you're not looking at their business model from the fundamental philosophy within which they run it, you're going to continue to pretty much find yourself where you're hitting your head on a wall. And then the reverse is that once you see it, you will realize that all of this nonsense that's being done are just people just engaging in what I call duddery. They're just spreading fugazi. This is all a dud. To them, the reality is not important. They just want to talk at this point in time, if you get what I mean. So by and large, this entire thing with, Microsoft's business model with Xbox is one that once you kind of see it, you realize that, man, this company is not going to go ahead and throw away hardware, because hardware is important for them. They have to be on the leading front with hardware so that the developers that are partnering with them and helping their business drive forward have something that they can look forward to. There's so many reasons the hardware has to be a thing.
Interesting saying gaming's competition is short form video. It feels like the entire world's competition is short form video.
We've heard this thing a while ago. It just comes up again and again with public SaaS companies that are maybe a little bit more of a point solution, and they have to go.
I think they probably had finished. They kind of moved on right after this, but I thought I'd cover it because, again, you got to listen to this stuff for yourself. You can't really sit there and wait for one person to pretty much go ahead and tell you all that. But anyways, enjoy gaming. If you hate it, abandon it. If it takes too much of your time, but do better things, some people, like to touch grass. Some people, prefer to hang out, spend time with family. Gaming is just a leisure and a luxury that we are, we're able to get at our fingertips, but it's not really the most important thing at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I just feel like this so-called console warring has just literally brought out some of the nasty, when all it is just people are malnourished of information. You got a whole bunch of people sitting there just misinforming entire swaths of individuals. You feel me? Like, this is not this, that's not that. And it's just so weird. It's just so weird. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. I appreciate your time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.